Hello and welcome to this special interview on Revsportz. I'm Sneha Mukherjee, and today I have been joined by none other than the Hong Kong China women's cricket team captain Natasha Miles. First of all, Natasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, absolutely. Natasha, as you all know, that's a huge occasion for you guys, to being able to qualify for the Asia Cup. And now you're gearing up for the tournament and you are being able, in that group where India, Pakistan, and Thailand are there as well. So for you as captain for the team, how excited are you guys for getting this opportunity? And I must say, by earning this opportunity, because the quality of cricket you played was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited, and I think all the girls are. You go away and you watch teams like India and Pakistan play on the world stage. I was lucky enough to be in London this year during the World Cup. So I went down and watched a few of those games, and seeing those guys play sort of live in front of you, watching kind of almost as a fan of women's cricket, to then be able to enter the stage and play against them is going to be, really, really fun and really exciting.
Yes. And Natasha, particularly about India, how excited about that particular game? India, we all know, number one force in women's cricket right now, especially after winning the 2025 World Cup, and especially when you know that you're going to face superstars like Smriti, Mandhana, and Harmanpreet. What is your thought on that?
I've actually been very lucky enough to play with Harmanpreet Kaur many years ago. She came over to England when I was on the staff with the Lancashire Thunder during the Women's Super League. So she was playing, then I was sort of a bit piece that kind of filled in here and there. So I played with her. So that's it's quite nice to sort of meet her on the international stage. I mean, she's obviously an incredible player and an incredible person in all that I've met her with. So yeah, I mean, playing against these people you kind of see in the WPL, you see on TV playing in the World Cup is, it'll be very exciting, I think, for a lot of the girls. It'll be a challenge. I think for me, I'm trying not to look at it as the names. We've been lucky, some of us who've played in Fairbreak or who've played in a couple of leagues around the world, we're kind of trying to, as much as we can, keep ourselves level headed and, just go into the
Mhm.
competition looking like we're playing against other cricketers as opposed to trying to put them too much on a pedestal. But I know that that's gonna, that will always sit in the back of our minds, and they are inspiration to a lot of our players and a lot of players around the world. I still look to players like Smriti and Harmanpreet, how they bat, and I kind of adapt things from how they play, that things you want to introduce into your own
Mhm.
game. So there's a little bit of that plays in the back of your head, but as much as we can, we'll just try and keep ourselves cool and enjoy the moment because it's a privilege to play the game for your country, and it's even more of a privilege, sorry, to play against people who, a lot of the people in our community and players in our community will look up to.
Yes, absolutely. But Natasha, the ACC Women's Premier Cup campaign that you had, I think you guys qualified from that only. So can you just share the journey of that campaign, how you guys performed and everything happened?
Oh, I hope I can remember it all. It's a couple of months ago now, and we played a few things since then. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think we've had Mamatha Maben who's joined us last at the back end of
Mm.
last year, and we've been building up this whole time for this tournament, and that's one of the big things we had to qualify for. Do excuse me, my roommate's just in the background getting ready for the gym session. um, uh, but yeah, so we'd all along been preparing for this tournament, and everything we sort of done up until that point was, how do we get ourselves in the best position to do that, and how does the team look, how does the tactics look? So going into that, I think we were quite confident that we would do well. You never know what's going to happen. Game of cricket can change like that, especially T20. But yeah, going into it and going through the group stages, I think we had some pretty strong confidence that we would, if we performed how we have trained, performed how we have planned to, we would get ourselves into that group stage and get ourselves qualified.
Yes, and as you mentioned that Mamatha Maben ma'am, how has been the experience of working with her? And you know that she is a former India women's cricketer, a captain. She has also captained India earlier. So by somehow she has also talked with you how special the occasion will be for herself as well when you are going to face India.
I think it's been a mixture, a little bit of what I've already touched upon, I guess. She's quite a level-headed person, and her and I resonate quite well. And I think, trying to look at it as that we're going to acknowledge that this tournament and playing against this opposition is definitely going to be, very big for us in the sense that it's a great stage for us to showcase our skills, to play against, good players, but equally that we're trying not to put too much of a name on it because you don't want the team to sort of get psyched out before we've even kind of taken the field. So from that perspective, she sort of very much encouraged us to embrace the opportunity, have fun with it, enjoy it, but we're going to go out there and play our skills as best as we can. And, you know, anything can happen in T20. I'm not saying, it's necessary
Yes,
that you topple India or we
definitely.
get beaten, but if we go out there and put our best foot forward, it shouldn't really matter what the result is. If we played our best cricket, it'll show and it'll come out, and that's the best way we can enjoy the tournament.
Yes, absolutely. But
Mm.
now you guys have been in Sri Lanka for the preparation. And can you just share the idea behind this? The why Sri Lanka? And because you all know in Dubai, the spinning track will be there. So is this the main reason that you guys chose Sri Lanka for the preparation?
I think we've historically, excuse me, I think we've had historically as Cricket Hong Kong quite a good relationship with Sri Lanka
Mm.
cricket, and they've always been very accommodating to us. So coming out here, the weather is generally pretty good. It's not a long flight for us, and it's sort of in between that kind of in between point between here and Dubai that we can get some quality cricket. Similar to India, you're going to come out here and you're going to get good wickets. You're going to get good players who come and bowl at you. So I think just getting the volume and the quantity, whilst we can't, the weather in Hong Kong at the minute is rainy season for us. So being able to come out here, play on grounds, be out in the open, and have a plethora of players who want to come and bowl at us just gives us the best opportunity to prepare and sort of face a lot of different conditions and different types of bowling to just get us ready for what we could face at the Asia Cup.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Natasha, last two questions. In your team, there are few players who are very, very crucial, like Carrie Chan, Mariko Hill, and obviously Daswani. I think she has been impressive as well. So, what are your thoughts on those players, particularly going into them?
I think everyone's in a very good space, to be honest. Yes, that's a number of standout performances who played for us, but I think, we like to collectively look at ourselves as a team unit that puts everything together. And, though that is probably the platform of our batting innings comes from those 3, 4 players. We've had a real growth in our middle order, I think. Our 4, 5, 6 have been, performing really, really well for us as well. And they've kind of been able to allow those at the top, like myself, Marika, Yas, to sort of go out and play a little bit freely, and knowing that we have that stability and the ability to go hard right at the back end because our 4, 5, 6 have really come together well. So our batting lineup is, extending the more we're growing and the more Mamatha Maben has been working with us. And then, our bowling is going to come together in parts. We've got a good solid couple of seamers who set us up early in the game, and we've got spinners, all around the squad who come and perform when they're asked to. And I think they've done that well in our last series in Namibia. As they were asked to step up the plate, we had a couple of girls who are in and out of that
Mm.
squad as spinners, and every time they came on to bowl, they turned up and they did something for us. They did the job. So, very happy with how we're set up to go.
Yes, absolutely. And Natasha, personally, you have had a long career. As you mentioned earlier, in England, you had a stellar campaign. For a long time, you played in England, in domestic cricket and everywhere. So, considering that, so you have observed women, women's cricket in Hong Kong, China as well for the last few years. How do you see the growth of women's cricket in Hong Kong, China, considering the recent performances?
I think with all associate countries, there's quite a big gap in how we can develop because cricket isn't as well known in Hong Kong as it is in countries like India, Australia, and England. That's just something that you grow up with in the summer or whatever time of year it's being played. That's just a normal sport to play. Whereas in Hong Kong, it's not sort of in the schools in the same way. I know that our board works hard, and that a lot of girls who play the game go into coaching and help with that growth. But it does go from strength to strength. We look around our group now, and there's quite a lot of girls who've come in from the youth pathways, and we're starting to
Mhm.
build that back up into our system. I think we had a bit of a lull period. COVID probably didn't help a lot with that. Oh, it probably didn't help a lot of countries with that, but especially, associate nations probably take a bit of a hit because you've got a little bit less budget at times, you've got a little bit less facilities, you might have a little bit less interest because those countries don't play it as a predominant sport. But from when I started as a kid, when there was sort of 2 of us girls playing in our boys' leagues, and I think I was the only woman who played in the men's league there, to where we are
Mhm.
now, having 6 teams in our Premier League in Hong Kong, and sort of being able to the to showcase that skill by qualifying for the Asia Cup and showing that we've got like a good pool of players. It's going from strength to strength. But I think, even recently I saw an interview with Hayley Matthews. For countries who aren't in that top group, it is quite hard to get that same sustained development with when you don't get to be exposed to as much cricket. So hopefully the more opportunities any associates get to play in things like the Premier Cup, and there's a global cup, I think, or sort of a global tournament that was going on. The more opportunities we have to do that, the more growth there is. And I think the greater the game will grow and benefit for it to have those challenges across the world and play lots more cricket. But yeah, we're on the up, and hopefully, this will be a great statement for us to make that we've made it onto this stage of Asia Cup, and it will help our development even more as a country. Because obviously, the better you do, the more facilities and the more backing you get. So yeah, excited, definitely very excited for this opportunity and see how it can continue to help us grow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Natasha, for joining in again. And it's been a pleasure to talk with you. Hopefully, you guys have a very good time in the Asia Cup, and definitely good luck for the tournament. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And it was really nice to speak with you. And I hope we meet again soon.
For India's best multi-sports coverage, your platform is one, and that's Revsportz. So like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. I think by now you know that we will be everywhere in different parts of the world and bring you on-ground reportage. As I said, your best multi-sports coverage on Revsportz, your favorite destination.